art thou? What art thou doing?
I'm Judith, the sister of Shakespeare. I'm simply writing a poem.
Thou shalt never be as good as your brother.
On page 66, Woolf writes, if a woman wrote, she would have to write in the common sitting room. And as Miss Nightingale was so vehemently to complain, women have never an half hour that they can call their own. She was always interrupted. Still, it would be easier to write prose and fiction there than to write poetry or a play. Less concentration is required.
Mommy, when are we gonna have dinner? I'm hungry.
Honey, I'm trying to write something. Can you just wait?
No, you never pay attention to me. I'm hungry now.
Okay, we're having company over. Just please be patient, honey, okay?
Hi, Jane. I'm here for dinner. What were you doing?
Oh, nothing. I was just about to start some tea. Would you like some?
Yes.
Let's go.
Women were writing more books in this time period. The general stigma is that women should still not be writing. Take Jane Austen, for example. As Woolf says, at any rate, one would not have been ashamed to have been caught in the act of writing Pride and Prejudice. Yet Jane Austen was glad that a hinge creaked, so that she might hide her manuscript before anyone came in. To Jane Austen, there is something discreditable in writing Pride and Prejudice, and I wondered, would Pride and Prejudice would have been a better novel if Jane Austen had not thought it necessary to hide her manuscript from visitors?
Hello all. My name is Virginia Woolf, and today I'm presenting my new essay titled Room of One's Own. It is based on the lectures I gave at Girton and Newham College back in 1928. Now, before we get started, do I have any questions?
Excuse me, I have a question. I was wondering if you could explain what the central message or argument in your book is, please.
Yes. Well, the central argument is that throughout history, women have lacked privacy and wealth, and as a result, the literary works of women have suffered in comparison to those of men who are free from such distractions.
Virginia Woolf is a British writer who's best known for her novels Miss Dalloway and To the Lighthouse. She experimented with many different forms of biographical writing, composed short fictions, and sent many brilliant letters to family and friends throughout her life.
On page 76, Woolf writes, lock up your libraries if you like, but there is no gate, no lock, no bolt that you can set upon the freedom of my mind.
On page 94, Woolf writes, give her a room of her own in 500 a year, let her speak her mind and leave out half that she now puts in, and she will write a better book one of these days.
On page 104, Woolf says, even so, the very first sentence that I would write here, I said, crossing over to the writing table and taking up the page headed Women in Fiction, is that it is fatal for anyone who writes to think of their sex. It is fatal to be a man or woman pure and simple. One must be woman manly or man womanly.
On page 74 to 75, Woolf writes, only Jane Austen did it and Emily Bronte. They alone were deaf to that persistent voice, now grumbling, now patronizing, now demeanoring, now grieved, now shocked, now angry, now avuncular, that voice which cannot let women alone, but must be at them.
Especially with the ideas of the feminist movement gaining momentum in our society, the messages and ideas from the book are very pertinent to society today.
The central idea that women need privacy and wealth is reflected today with women struggling to acquire equal wages and competing with men in the workplace.
The book is influential because it serves as a detailed account for how women have progressed in the field of literature and added to the feminist movement as a whole.
And because it addressed a problem that society was generally avoiding, it empowered women in the literary field at the time by attempting to overcome the stigma that was present at that time and explaining such things as, I had come at last in the course of this rambling to the shelves which hold books by the living, by women and by men, for there are almost as many books written by women now as by men.
The book was at times hard to follow because of its shift between personalities that occurred frequently, but I thought it was very thought-provoking and it addressed many interesting topics related to women's role in society. And overall, I enjoyed this book because of its unique approach to its subject and because of Woolf's unique style.
Overall, I enjoyed the book. I thought it was very complex with its use of multiple characters and abundance of metaphors, which made it generally confusing. However, the author repeatedly addresses her argument through this figurative language, which I clearly understood, and because I'm the gender that Woolf is arguing for, it was particularly more captivating for me.
I thought it was interesting how valiant Woolf was for writing this essay in a time where people had critical views of women. In the video, we try to show the time periods progressed to modern day to portray the change of women's role with writing in society throughout the years.
The book and found it very intriguing. At this time period, you mostly hear about women's voting rights, so it was interesting to read about a different aspect in the feminist movement, and that aspect being women in literature. And I like the way that Woolf developed her argument by almost creating like a different story within her story and having a character to narrate that story, but at times it did get confusing to know which parts were real and which parts were made up.